Hello, we are the Geeks and Degenerates, and we'll end this heavy topic of a week with a Modern Warfare video uh, that was released in 2012 and is directed by Catherine Bigelow, who also did The Hurt Locker.
Dude,
Uh,
knowing the fact that they did this film a year after they got him
yeah,
through, I was like, man, they work fast.
yeah. There's a funny story or a cool story behind that, but we'll get to it when we get to it. But yeah, you know these faces. You know John, my forever co-host, and Hazel, our Star Wars and everything else expert.
And
Uh,
it's very fitting too that since we're doing a Modern Warfare themed video,
yeah,
since I guess Hazel has served.
yeah. She's a veteran.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yes, sir.
yeah. Well, I guess we'll get right into it. And yeah, the movie opens with the infamous date of September 11, 2001. And you hear recordings and 911 calls of that day and just how horrific and devastating it was.
Yeah.
And then we cut to 2 years later in a cell, and then you meet Dan, who is played by Jason Clarke, and Maya, who is played by Jessica Chastain.
Yeah. And I really am gonna say this now. Jessica Chastain's character here is for sure a big inspiration for Laswell in Modern Warfare series. I don't know if you know her, but she is the one who like calls in Task Force 141. She's the one who like is close with Bryce and everything. And her character here is very reminiscent of this character here in Zero Dark 30.
Hmm.
And I was like, I guess they kind of pulled that here. And Modern Warfare does like to pull shit from the movies into their games, like the 13R reference, The Rock, a lot more war movies.
Yeah. And like you see the controversial scene of Dan torturing Aman for information. It is rough to see.
Yeah,
And
it is. And you're not allowed to see these shit. Like, you're not, like, the whole, like, torture thing. We weren't supposed to know about that.
yeah, until it was declassified or released to the
Yeah.
public years later. Uh,
Yeah.
any thoughts on the scene, Hazel?
I mean, we did what we had to do.
Hmm.
Like, the fact that they had to show a scene of them torturing somebody to get the information showed how crucial it was for them to find out where, like, just one clue
Yeah.
to where the enemy was.
Yeah.
Because he kept attacking. This piece of shit kept attacking. So, yeah. They had to do what they had to do.
Yeah. And like
Yeah, I mean, and that brought up the whole waterboarding controversy and everything. Once it was found out by the
Yeah.
public that these were the things that we were doing, and I mean, I don't even know how to approach this.
Like,
I have a military mind. Okay, so I think about these things differently. It may not be a nice thing, but when the interest of national security from an overseas threat is the point, then you have to do whatever you can and to get the information you need from these people so that an attack doesn't happen on America again like it did in 9/11.
yeah.
and we do see that, like, throughout the movies, they do attack a couple
Yeah.
of other cities and other countries.
Like
which
the
I completely
more
forgot about.
yeah, the more they delay information, the more they're given the opportunity to cause havoc and chaos around the world, like in Saudi Arabia, in London, and in Pakistan. And like you feel the pressure on them to end Osama bin Laden quickly. Otherwise, he's gonna direct them to attack more stuff. And it was interesting to know this was going on as me and John were growing up, like seeing these attacks and wondering if there ever be a stop to this madness.
Yeah, I do remember people talking about 9/11. I do remember people talking about a bus bombing in
Yeah.
London. But as I said, I was like, wow, I forgot how frequent it was. I mean, this entire movie is like spaced out in like 10 years as
Yeah.
it looked for Osama.
Yeah, and
I mean,
like
I remember 9/11 like as it happened. Like
Hmm.
nobody had to tell me about it. Yeah, I was what, 15 at the time?
Yeah. Well, for me, I was like two, so I still couldn't comprehend what
uh,
was happening with that situation.
I vaguely
Yeah,
remember.
I mean, even being 15, right? Like I remember
Mm.
this, and most people I believe remember the day like I do. Like vividly, I mean. Um, I was in school, I just walked into history class, and our history teacher wasn't there, which isn't normal, but it's also happens sometimes, so it's nothing to like freak out about or even question. And so when he did come in the room a few minutes later, um, he was very serious, and all he said was, a plane hit the Twin Towers and the Pentagon's on fire. Everyone's going to the basement to watch TV. And that's what we did. And so we went down in the basement, we turned on the news, and I watched live on the news at least the second plane hit the second tower.
Yeah.
It's just different for me because like I had to be told those stories because like, again I couldn't comprehend what was happening at the moment.
Yeah. Uh,
Fuck.
I just
I
remember.
really couldn't either. I thought I was watching a movie.
Mm.
It didn't register in my mind that this was the news.
Yeah, it didn't feel real. Like for sure, if you're in that situation where you're seeing something tragic happen, you're like, wow, you only see this shit in the movies, and now it's happening in real life.
Yeah. I just saw the newspaper and like I didn't understand what I was looking at. Uh, but yeah, like, and then after, or we also forget to mention like on our own soil, like, Glorieta was bombed.
Really?
Yeah, you don't remember that?
Oh right! Oh my god!
Yeah.
Forgot about that. Glorieta is a very famous mall here in Manila, in Makati.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, we were bombed.
Yeah. Yeah. And then like after the Saudi attack, both Maya and Dan were like, why don't we tell him that in his delusion that he told us information and he saved lives, and maybe that will get him to open up.
Oh, and he kind of just believed it that, oh, I did.
Yeah, because he's already sleep
Yeah.
deprived to the max.
He's
also
also hungry.
yeah.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, after seeing that scene, I was like, damn, I want some hummus. Hummus is good.
It is. And then he says one named Abu Ahmed, who is the courier to Osama bin Laden, but they don't know, like, does he just get messages or parcels away from bin Laden, or does he meet with bin Laden and get what he needs to get?
I mean, you gotta. When I saw this, you gotta give it this. This guy was really good at just like sweeping up his trail, like making sure he doesn't leave any traces, and his information or whatever he needs goes from one guy to another guy to another guy. These guys not knowing what the other step was.
Yeah.
They just know one objective: get this, bring it to this middleman. This middleman will go to another middleman, and just go on. It's just a cycle. Not a
This
cycle. It's
courier,
yeah.
no,
Yeah.
this courier was the key to the entire thing. It's what made this operation even possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he also talks about, gives another name, Faraj, and Faraj is arrested, and Maya handles the interrogation, and she's like, look, you can make this as comfortable or as uncomfortable as you want to. Either way, we're getting the information we want. He refuses for a bit, and then they torture him, and he still doesn't budge, but she realizes, like, oh, he's protecting the courier as much as Osama bin Laden could. So in his mind, he's just as important.
Oh, is this the one where he's like a family member?
Yeah,
Yeah, like they had to get the phone number from a mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in
Or no,
Abu
yeah,
Dhabi?
that's much later. But there's just the
Okay.
realization that the couriers, in his mind, is just as important because he has direct contact with Osama bin Laden.
Uh,
Yeah. And then like Dan has to go back to the States because he's done with being in the military and he's done using enhanced interrogation techniques. He's like, I need to get a life.
I like that scene where he was like, "This is taking a toll on me," and he's also like telling, what was her name again?
Maya.
Maya, like, "Hey, I think you kind of need the break too. I can see that it's taking a toll on you as well."
Yeah.
And he goes, "They killed my monkeys."
Yeah. Tells Maya like politics is changing. You don't want to be the last one, waterboarding these people when the committee finds out or is doing an investigation for your own sake.
Yeah.
And like time moves on, but you discover that Jordan has a mole in Al Qaeda and he is a doctor and they're offering him money to spy on Al Qaeda.
Is this the rich guy that they met?
Not the
They
one.
robbed the Lamborghini for?
No.
No. Okay.
There's just the mole who later bombed an American air base. Yeah. Yeah.
And, oh God. I lost my phone. Go on.
Yeah, but he is a mole, and as the investigation keeps going, and like you see the toll it takes on Maya to just work on this ever-changing case of us finding Osama bin Laden and who's who.
It doesn't help that her like people above her kind of like you're chasing a ghost.
Yeah,
Whatever you're chasing, it's gonna go nowhere.
yeah,
Like and you can see her just being frustrated, like just give me this shot.
yeah,
I am so fucking close. Or she's
Yeah.
staying somewhere.
yeah. Even her friend Jessica is like, you should take a break or just ease up a bit. Just go on a date, have a relationship. Don't let this consume your life.
And then explosion.
Yeah, and then that's when the terror attack on the Marriott Hotel happens. You're like, that doesn't ease her mind at all.
But yo, she was so lucky in that scene because this is a true story, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
This is clearly okay. Making sure. This happened to this lady. The fact that the guards stopped the bomber at the gate instead of making him pass through and park somewhere closer for the explosion to be more effective. It's so horrible. But thank God it was far further away from this person.
yeah.
Because this person was responsible for capturing Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, just being lucky. That's this whole movie, actually. But Jessica does get time when Balawi, who is the doctor the Jordans are paying to spy on Al Qaeda, and like they're all excited because they're like, finally, we might get one step ahead and finally get some decent, really good information on Osama bin Laden. And they're waiting at the base, and Maya's asking Jessica like, "Hey, can you update me of what you find out?" She's like, "All right, I will. All right, he's here. I'll be right back." And then it's sketchy because he sees the guards in the post. He's like, "I don't like that." And then she tells one of the soldiers like, "Hey, he doesn't like that. Can you remove them? Otherwise, this whole procedure will go up in smoke."
Yeah, but man pretty much had one goal and one goal only.
Yeah,
Yeah,
which is
it was
to kill them.
Yeah, and I don't know if you noticed, Scott Adkins was here.
Was he a soldier?
Yeah, he was in the explosion.
Yeah. There's a lot of people.
He was only there for like a little bit, and he got blown up.
Yeah, there are a lot of people here that you're like, oh shit, that's Sinestro from Mark Strong. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yes. Hey.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, my son.
And then that's James Gandolfini from The Sopranos, who's like the head of the CIA. Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah, you're right. Holy shit.
The director.
I'm sorry, what?
That's what you're talking about. You're talking about the director of the CIA.
Yeah. But yeah, one of Maya's coworkers brings worse news like, oh, in this video, we find out that Abu Ahmed is dead because this guy, he's like, oh, I know that guy, I buried him. So it's a dead end.
And like, oh god, I do like this little detail that they do is every time they go into, oh, CIA something something base somewhere in Europe or CIA base classified location.
Yeah.
You can tell that the ones that are still in operation and the ones that aren't. The ones that are like they have the legit location like written down.
Yeah.
Like, okay, that one's not being used, but the classified ones for sure are still in effect.
Oh yeah. Also, like, before we go on, like this movie, I was like, man, I really like Jessica Chastain now. Like the scene when the director's like, I'll give you this if you type out these things, and she's like, I know what to do. You want the name, information, date of birth, where he's living, all that information. He's like, yeah, alright, you get it.
Like, she's been doing this job for so fucking long and dealing with their bullshit for so fucking long.
Yeah.
I pretty much know what I'm doing now.
And then after the attack on the base, we cut to a few years later, where one of the CIA's operative or heads is like, we've been doing this for years. It's cost billions of dollars. There are 20 names of wanted men. We only got 4. What the fuck are we doing?
And is this the part where Beautiful Planet of the Apes goes to Lamborghini ship?
Not yet, because
Damn. Yeah. Okay. This entire movie is just it's a very slow burn, by the way, everybody.
yeah,
Zero Dark 30 is not an action film. This is a legit story, so we're not gonna be one gunfight here, one gunfight there. Nah. This whole scene is just manhunt.
yeah.
Building up to the biggest gunfight of the century.
Our biggest find of the
Our
century.
biggest hunt of the century. I feel like
Yeah.
it was. They didn't have a chance since it was SEAL Team 6.
But yeah, like we do get crucial information, and from the Lauren who was with Jessica, it's like, oh, found his name, and he might be Abu Ahmed because he came with his brothers to Afghanistan, and they might have looked the same because they all grew beards, and they all entered
And there's, like,
illegally through
Was it
some
like
other country.
8 of them?
Yeah.
That was even worse. Like, there was 8 guys who looked exactly the same, and we couldn't like distinguish which one was which, and we kept declaring him dead.
Yeah. And then she tells Dan this, and that's where we get the scene of him, your scene, where he talks to the guy from Kuwait, and he bargains through Lamborghinis.
I like that scene. I like seeing a Lamborghini.
Yeah. And then they tap into his mother's phone, and it's just a waiting game, essentially. But like the response team isn't quick enough, and she's like, why are you doing this? They're like, we don't even know where he is.
Oh god, is this the one where they were in like mid traffic and they just had to get a picture of the guy they were calling?
Yeah.
Like they had the phone directly tapped into his phone, so when it rings, it'll ring, right?
Yeah. And then before that is the scene of Maya telling Bradley, like, can you please help out beefing up the teams? And he's like, you're just chasing a ghost. Like, focus on other stuff. She's like, oh, I am focusing on the most important part, which is capturing and killing Osama bin Laden. And it's like, you're just here to check checkbox on your resume saying you captured a terrorist. Well, in fact, you're missing the big goal. And if you want to put something else on your resume, it's subverting the efforts to capture or kill Osama bin Laden. Tell that to the Congress when you go back to America.
Badass.
Yeah.
Wait, is she back from the Middle East? Like, is she stationed in the U.S. by this point?
No, she's still in Pakistan.
Yeah, because I was about to mention that scene where she was about to leave and she immediately got attacked by a group who was just waiting for her outside her compound.
Yeah. Is almost assassinated. And then yeah, it's a cat and mouse game where you mentioned they just have to take a picture of the guy. And like when
Yes.
they take his picture and then you see the intelligence of like, oh, he's going to this house every time, and you're like, I've seen that house in the news.
I was like, this son of a bitch is in there.
Yeah,
Get him! Like the whole time, I was like, that's the place. This is like 13-year-old me
Yeah.
watching this movie for the first time. I was like, that's the place. Get it. Go in already. He's in there. When they have zero information of anything,
yeah,
and they didn't really explain that the science that they had that went through
well,
infiltrating the place, which I kind of wish they did.
I
But
mean,
the movie was already going on for a while.
they kind of did, because they're like, it's a fort, and the only clue is that there are two men. We think there are two men, but then there's another lady. Like, oh, there must be three men. And
Yeah.
he is so cautious of what he does. He doesn't access the internet. He doesn't make phone calls. He doesn't go outside for breath of fresh air. When he does, it's behind trees that are so covers his path that even satellites can't see him. So that must be the prime target. My question for Hazel is that were there whispers that you might have found him before
Like
the
in
operation?
army.
Yeah, there definitely were. Like, I know what I want to say in my head with the information that I have. It's just not coming out. Sorry. So prior to the operation actually taking place, and then the confirmation afterwards, there were, like people talking. There was chit chat that they may have the location of a high value target, but like no names were ever mentioned.
Yeah.
But y'all kind of just like, it's who.
Yeah, because mine says there are two narratives. One, that Osama bin Laden is just hiding in the caves guarded by hundreds of men. Two, he's somewhere in the city being very, very, very cautious.
How fun it would have been, like the whole video game version of it. 100 men, final boss of the deep inside the cave.
I guess that would cost too much lives.
Well, I mean, if they got a confirmation of that, I guess they just got a bomb it.
Probably. But yeah, they have to be sure, because they're like, the head of the CIA is like, I'm going to tell the president in the eye, like, yes, it's him. And they all are relying on Maya, like, well, she's 100%.
Mm-hmm.
I do love the scene when the director comes in and he's being briefed by the man, and he turns to Maya and he's like, who are you? And she's like, I'm the motherfucker who found this place.
And everyone was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, because this is her life. She's so consumed with finding Osama bin Laden, she hasn't done anything else. That's one her and the head of CIA is having that lunch conversation. And he's like, you know what? I trust this woman with her intelligence.
Hmm.
And then
And I do like her character for that. She's like a dog. When she gets like a bite of it, she's a chain let it go.
yeah,
Because she really wouldn't let that case go. Nothing like altered her in the spirit. Like, no, she wasn't like, you know what? I think I might be done. This shit's taking too much on me. No,
Yeah.
she just kept going. She kept trying to find clues and shit. I really like Jessica Chastain's character here, and
Yeah.
especially the real life person who found her, found Osama bin Laden.
yeah. And then they have a meeting in Area 51 with a SEAL team. I don't know what you call that
I
team.
think it is Steel Team 6.
SEAL
Because they're
Team
the ones
6.
who, yeah, they're those who go in.
Yeah. And then they're like, what are we doing here? And they think it's something to do with Libya. And they're like, why are we flying silent helicopters when Omar Gaddafi's anti-aircraft stuff is basically non-existent? Why are we worrying? And
I was
then,
like, I'll wait here for that. Homie.
yeah. Like, and then she says the two narratives, like, well, we believe in two narratives of Osama bin Laden. One is that, again, he's in the cave. Two is that he's in the city being very, very cautious. I do like the fact that the military calls him UCL. Like, that's interesting.
What's UZL?
Osama bin Laden.
Oh, okay. And I do love seeing that. Yeah, I mean, they weren't lying. These helicopters were developed in Area 51. These were classified helicopters.
Yeah,
Like the very high tech, best
mean,
of the best of the time.
they're not classified anymore because
No,
of
of
the events
course,
that happened.
because they had to use it and
Yeah.
one crashed.
And because of the news saying like, "Oh, this is how we did it."
Mm.
And then you look
And
at. Sorry, go
I
ahead.
do like it that I do like it that compared to a regular helicopter that they have as standard issue, these ones are slower, but it's way quieter, and it's, I guess, with its design, it's more stealthy.
Yeah. I guess. And then you look at the troops. You're like, "That's Chris Pratt. That's Joel Edgerton. That's that guy from Batman versus Superman."
He's always the bad guy, the Russian,
Yeah,
and he's the one who shot it, shot Bin Laden too.
yeah. Mister, I'll do it. You don't believe me, and Batman's just like, "I believe you." But we're not here for that. But yeah.
Do it. Sorry.
We cut back to the CIA, and again, they're confirmed. Like everybody's like 60. I'm 60% sure. I'm 80% sure. And then the CIA head is like, just give it to me, briefly. Are you sure or not? And then Maya's finally like, I'm 100% sure. No, 95% because I know certainty freaks you out, but I'm so sure he's there. All right, and then the mission starts, and that's what I was saying in the beginning, because this movie was supposed to be about the unsuccessful manhunt of Osama bin Laden going on for a decade. But history and life took a different turn, and then they had to rewrite the movie.
Yeah, and they're like, what a twist! We got him!
Yeah.
And I love this scene. I really do. Because Hazel, do you remember that mission from Call of Duty? The one where they're in London and then you start like clearing rooms very slowly, night vision goggles and everything. Hazel?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's night outside, and you're like in the alley, and you have to go into this house, and it's like 3 floors, and it's up the staircase and clearing each floor.
Yeah, like this for sure. They got heavy inspirations from, because there were moments where a lady would cry over her husband and do nothing, and another one would just immediately grab their AK as they infiltrate. It is slow, it is precision, and I'm like, you can see that they're careful. It's not run and gun, kill as much. No, there are civilians in the area, there are kids.
Yeah.
And you see this entire process, and it is very fascinating to watch.
Yeah, the last 25 minutes, you're like, this is tense, because Maya and the rest are watching, being like, I hope this works. And you know that also President Barack Obama was also watching, and he's like,
Yeah.
I hope this works because God help us with Pakistan being like, what are you doing in our backyard? Why are you here?
Which will cause him a lot more trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hazel, did the military know before the news was released that you found him and you were doing this operation?
Did the military know?
Or like, did you guys find out, like, keep it hush hush, but we found Bin Laden?
Like were you guys just waiting on the news that you got him or he was in the compound?
Oh no! When this was going down, like your average military personnel, like no one fucking knew. Like only the top people who absolutely needed to know any of this knew. So, especially someone like me, I would never in a million years hear anything about this until well after it's done.
It's all hush hush because the entire operation was.
And then you see how experienced SEAL Team 6 is, because they're like, anyone's been in a crash before, and they all raise their hands. So you're like, alright, we're ready.
I love that. Just veterans, just like, done this before. First time? Well, no.
Yeah, and then as the helicopters are landing in the compound, I was like, in real life, one of them crashes, and then when that happens, I'm like, Oh my god, it is true to story.
Yeah, and like, thank God nobody fucking died in the crash, or they just walked it off, brushed it off. Man, what badasses!
Yeah, and then yeah, they go into the compound and kill those who are gonna kill them. Like they don't even give them a second chance. Because how can you in that situation?
No room for error at this point.
Yeah.
You know? Like, dude, there were scenes where they would try to breach a door, somebody would shoot through it, one of them almost getting taken out. Another one where this guy hides behind a corner, you don't see him until one of the soldiers just takes a shot, and you just see a body fall. I was like, I would have been shitting my pants if I was one of these soldiers. Well, I mean, if I was able to get into SEAL Team 6, I guess I'll be okay. But if I'm just like, hey, right out of training, I'm going into this situation, I would have cried in the corner.
Yeah.
I can't handle that shit.
And then I like them calling out their names to try to get them to come out. Especially towards the end when that one soldier's calling Osama bin Laden, and then he peeks and not even a second, he just headshots him.
Yeah, like just a pop. Man, just drops. I also love Chris Pratt's guy. Okay, yes, that's controversial as Chris Pratt is. His character here was, like, I liked it because he was the nice guy.
Yeah.
Like, this man popped, like, 4 bullets in one person. He's like, hey, all right, let's not look at the dead body. Just,
Yeah.
like, escorting kids into another room with their mom.
He's also smart because he commands the troops to get all the hard drives and any sort of intelligence, because this is valuable information that we need, and we won't get another opportunity.
Yeah, because who knows? Maybe Osama has more connections to carry out his deeds.
Yeah.
Or maybe attacks are about to happen. That they're like, hey, maybe we could stop it now.
Yeah, and then as this is going on, the Pakistanis are like, what's happening? Why are there so many crashes and explosions?
Yeah, and I get the curiosity because they're not supposed to be there.
Yeah, like, I think a Pakistani team tweeted about it. It was like, that's strange, a helicopter crash. Why is the helicopter here?
Imagine you just going into your socials and just look out the window. You're like, oh fuck, they got him. Old man Osama's gonna get it.
Did they even? I doubted they even knew who he was.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah. And then yeah, they leave with his body and the information they need, and they bring him back to base. And Maya confirms kill. So my question to you guys: when the news released, what was your reaction?
Yeah, Hazel, go first, please. No, because I feel like it matters to you more.
Yeah.
I just felt like this sense of pride, even though I had absolutely nothing to do with it. It was like, even though, like I just said, I didn't have anything to do with it, it felt like I accomplished something. Like that feeling when you get achievement and you're really proud of yourself. Like, I felt that, even though I did absolutely zero. But just, because like we're all part of the same team, you know what I mean? And especially since, I did serve, that's just what it felt like to me.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like, we finally got him through our efforts as a nation. We got this fucker who's been attacking us.
Yeah.
No, like, hearing the news, I was like, dude, I played Call of Duty at this time. It's like, oh, okay, I'm getting into Modern Warfare. I'm starting getting more information. I'm seeing how bad terrorists are, and knowing the fact that we have one. You see his name pop up in the news, like here and there, and this place in Europe got attacked. This place in the Middle East got attacked. This place in Asia got attacked. And I was like, this fuck. And then once they finally, I was like, thank fucking God. They got the madman. There's other terrorists.
Yeah.
They finally got him. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
This is going to be one hell of a story to tell. And here we go. We get a movie from it a year later.
Yeah, I literally turned on the internet like the same time President Obama's announcement happened. I'm like, what?
Mhm.
For real? And then I listened to it. I'm like, oh my god. At least part of the madness is over.
Thanks to this movie too, like I didn't know how hard it was. I mean, like I know it's hard to find a guy or
Yeah.
like find a terrorist, but the fact that the process of it was so complicated and it took years,
Yeah.
and this movie helped show it. I was, damn. Okay,
Yeah.
I gotta give them more credit for this shit.
And the fact that they found him in a place they would never think to look, like the same with Saddam Hussein, where he was just hiding in a hole in the ground. We're like, interesting.
Yeah, it was the needle in a haystack.
Yeah. But overall, what would you rate this movie, and what are your overall thoughts on it?
Um, that's a movie on its own. I would say it's solid 9 out of 10. The political drama and the whole espionage shit was so fucking good. I mean, of course, if you're just a casual watcher, I will say this. If you're just a casual watcher and you're seeing all this and you're hearing the espionage jargon that they spat out, all the information that they're trying to convey to you that you try to understand, might be a bit hard for a casual watcher or to pay attention. I do catch some of my family members falling asleep to this movie in the middle before the not before the the hunt. So I will say that. But for me, I really like seeing that. I just like seeing the process of how yes, this got permission to do. You know, like you had to talk to the higher ups, and yeah, it's all fucking good. The choreography for the gunfight at the end, so fucking good. Everybody did fucking amazing. How about you, Hazel?
Yeah, I think it was a really good put together movie as far as like the series of events and how they told the story. Um, every moment you were always just waiting for the next thing. There was a lot of suspense in this movie in a non-thrilling type of way because it's all very slow. You know, it's all methodical and planned out. You know, I can't remember the damn expression, but there's an expression in the military about being slow. Something about slow is safe and safe is something. I can't remember. It's been too long, but so I'm glad that they were able to represent that in the making of this movie, like how things are just very slow for like this one big event to happen, and even when that's happening, you know, like you said, it's not like some big Call of Duty fight. It's very methodical and planned, and you're moving up the stairs very slowly, checking every single possible area in front of you that the enemy can be. It's made a certain way, and it just feels true to life, and I love it.
Yeah.
Wait, I think the thing is.
If I didn't give a number, 9 out of 10.
Oh, there we go. I think the saying was slow is smooth, smooth is fast, is what it is.
Something like that. Yeah.
Right.
That sounds right.
I guess we're giving the same score across the board. I'll also give this a 9 out of 10. It's a really good movie, and as you said, like it's slow and methodical, and like especially the last 25 minutes, where obviously the American military can't just park into a random building and start firing. Otherwise, they're going to anger the nation that they're sneaking into. Like when they're collecting hard drives and computer stuff, I like the detail. They're like, we have to hurry up because Pakistan's not happy because they're like, we're scrambling F-16s right now to figure out what the fuck is going on. So
Yeah, because that was definitely a real thing. We did not have permission to go into the borders of Pakistan, and I don't mean just to get Bin Laden. I mean just period. But the only thing I will say as far as my own in real life experience, what Pakistan don't know don't hurt them.
yeah, but yeah, 9 out of 10. This is one of the best modern warfare movies, and I'm glad they made this movie because this is a story worth telling in the end.
Yeah.
Uh,
Definitely is.
yeah. I'm like, every time after this movie, I'm like wondering like, what other Manhunt movies can they make out of? Like, do we need to see how they captured Saddam Hussein? Not really. You just have to read off what happened. But like, there are other interesting manhunts across history of important people. Like watching a movie about how they tracked down the last remaining Nazi war criminals would be interesting. I would see that.
I would like to see that. Well, just them just doing the Darth Vader, ironically.
Yeah.
For them, like, escape Nazis.
Yeah, like especially the capture of Adolf Eichmann. That'd be cool.
Well, what were your guys' like favorite Modern Warfare movies?
Modern Warfare movies? Like set in Modern Warfare?
Yeah. Like, I would say late 90s,
Like-
early, around 2010s.
Like, so starting from the first Gulf War?
Yeah.
Black Hawk Down for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Black Hawk Down is it is amazing. It's definitely amazing. It's funny because I know, or at least I knew, I'm just not friends with him anymore, for situational reasons. Nothing happened between us for our friendship. Anyways, he was a special forces member who was there in Mogadishu during the Black Hawk Down incident, and he was there was a portrayal of him in the movie under a different name because not everyone had like their real life names, only the main people that they were focusing on in the movie. But like the other people that you saw had fake names, and he was represented as one of the people with fake names. So in a way, like, you know, he was represented in the movie, and he told me some shit, and that shit was crazy.
Was he one of the special forces where they had like the black helmet instead of the standard Ranger uniform?
Special forces generally, at least to my knowledge, don't tend to wear any type of like Kevlar helmet, like protective helmet. They might wear a cap or, you know, like a boonie or something, just to keep like the sun out of their eyes, but generally not wearing any type of like Kevlar helmet.
Alright.
How about you, Jomar?
Nah, because Black Hawk Down is my favorite, and you guys just chose it, so I don't want to be boring. Like, with
I mean, if that's what it is, that's what it is.
I know, but okay, a movie that is Modern Warfare that I would recommend, I would say 13 Hours or Lone Survivor.
those are good
Lone
choices.
Survivor's really good.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Does the remake of Red Dawn count? Because the remake takes place during modern times.
Modern times, if China invaded. The US
I thought it was Korea.
or Korea.
isn't that the one with?
Chris Hemsworth
Yeah,
and Josh Beck.
yeah. Oh
I
my
know.
god.
I know it's a fictional war, but it's a modern war.
Yeah.
I think fictional wars are okay.
But if I know it's off topic, but if like a modern movie that's set in World War II, it has to be either Hacksaw Ridge or Dunkirk for me.
Or it's Fury for me.
Fury's pretty good.
Yeah.
Fury is good.
It's
Yeah,
probably one of my favorite World War II movies. Anyway.
yeah. And next year is Oppenheimer by Christopher Nolan, so I can't wait for that.
Same here.
Let's hope he sticks to CGI for the effects.
Instead of practical, please. Don't set up a nuke, Christopher Nolan.
But yeah, I guess that caps off.
Man just opens up a demon cord.
Jesus. Christopher Nolan, no. Christopher Nolan, yes.
Yes.
But yeah, that caps off one of the heaviest weeks we've had in Geeks and Degenerates, talking about a very heavy subject, which is warfare. Hope you guys enjoyed this week. And yeah, if you want to see more of us on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and ding the bell icon to get notified of when we upload next. We have a Facebook and Spotify and TikTok under the same name. Facebook to see us react to trailers. Like, we'll do the Oppenheimer one when it comes out eventually. And we stream video games and about our lives from time to time. Maybe we'll stream something like Call of Duty, or like one of the older Call of Duties.
Fuck yeah. Let's do the original.
Alright. And Spotify to hear us on the go, TikTok to see our best and funniest moments. And individually you can find me at Gandalfus995 on IG and Twitter. How about you guys?
Find me at JohnGeoM_on Instagram. This is my art account.
My Instagram and Twitter is SapphireHazel7. This is the number 7. And Twitch and YouTube is just Sapphire Hazel.
Yeah, but yeah, that's it for this video, and then next week we have a special video for you guys, and we're going back to Wakanda, so stay tuned for that. But for now, we'll see you on the next one. Bye everybody.
Wakanda forever!
Wakanda forever! Bye.
Bye.
Yeah.